So what was your content all about, the first video?
Like, if you're confident, you'd be able to rob a bank and get away with it.
But why so many changes in school?
I had like a boyfriend at that time in 5th grade. And my parents had caught me. This is what Million Opinions is for.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is a new season. It's a new look for me, of course. And we are all about fresh start. And we're going to start this episode with a wonderful and dynamic personality who is a very successful influencer and also a wonderful and vibrant human being. Mariam George, welcome to Million Opinions.
Thank you for having me.
You have been in various other podcasts where you speak about so many things.
Yeah.
So let's make this podcast a bit different.
Yes.
What do you want to speak on?
Just my journey and the lessons that I've learned going through the motions to get to where I am right now.
You are very young. You're just 22.
Yeah.
And at this age, you are wearing many hats. So how did it all begin? Talk us through your education, if you don't mind.
So I went to Emirates National School when I was, I think, until like 5th grade, which was in Sharjah because I used to live in Sharjah. And then after that, I was in Elite for like 2 years up until like 6th grade. And then I was in our own up until 10th grade, which honestly was the best time of my life. Like, I made the best of friends in our own, which was an all-girls school. So I was like, no boy drama. Life is amazing. And then I went to Cambridge for the last 2 years. So, yeah. And then after that, university, dropped out of that. But yeah, that's my education background.
But why so many changes in school?
Mostly because my parents kept moving. So, actually, when I was in Emirates National School, like I said, we were in Sharjah. And then we moved to Dubai because I think my dad's job changed or my mom's job changed. So we moved to Dubai, and then I was in Elite when I was in Dubai. And then from Elite, we left because, actually, you know what? The main reason I probably haven't talked about this before, I had like a boyfriend at that time in 5th grade. And my parents had caught me having a boyfriend, and the principal also found out. So there was a lot of like 5th grade boyfriend drama going on. So my parents were like, we'll put her in an all-girls school, see what's going to happen then. So I went to our own. And actually from our own, I changed because I think I got into the science stream. I wanted to do psychology along with bio and chem. But I think the streams that they had, it had like physics and math or something that I didn't want to take. So I was just like, no. So that's why I went to A-levels, because then I have the freedom to like pick the subjects and stuff. And also, I think I was just done with like CBSE at that point, because I'm like, I'm not gonna mug up stuff. So yeah, I switched to A-levels, Cambridge. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Literally just because we've been moving around.
Talk us through the college. Why did you not complete or pursue psychology?
I love psychology, and eventually I will get a degree in it because I am passionate about it and I love learning about it. But the reason college didn't work out is that after university, I knew what I wanted to do. I was like, okay, I want to do psychology. And my mom's a psychologist.
Okay.
So yeah, so seeing her, I was just like, okay, this sounds fun. I wouldn't mind going down that road. So obviously the plan is, I get a bachelor's, I get a master's, and then I start working or I start my own clinic and things like that. But I wanted to go to Netherlands initially. So my plan was to study abroad, but of course, like we couldn't afford that because the fees was like way higher compared to like India. So my only other option was like either India or like, study somewhere in Dubai. Like those are like the cheapest options that we have. So I ended up going to India because I was just like, at least I'll have like that independence there where I'm not living with my parents. So I went to India, and I think the first year of university was like good in terms of just life outside of university. But it was very hard for me to like find people that I got along with. Like the fact that I was in India and I wanted to be abroad, and like all my friends were like abroad somewhere else studying and stuff, and I was like the only one in India, and I was just like, oh man, like I felt like I was missing out, and I was really homesick as well because I was like, I'm in a new country, I'm all by myself, and it's hard to make friends. Also, I was really introverted. Okay. Extremely introverted, like, and with social anxiety as well. So I was just like, oh my God, I need to step out of my comfort zone to make friends so that I don't like die alone if I do die in India. So yeah, and I don't like everything together was just like a lot of pressure, and I would go to university and then come back, and then I would just be in like this really sad spot. So that was happening, but There was this guy that I was seeing at that time who also ended up coming to Bangalore. And then when that happened, I was like, okay, there's someone that I know. And I was able to pick myself up back from where I was. And then I started like enjoying Bangalore. And that's when COVID hit. So when COVID hit, I was stuck in Bangalore for like a good 6-7 months. And then that's when I picked up the whole content creation. And so eventually when that started picking up, I couldn't go back to university because once the lockdown was done, they wanted everyone on campus. And there was a lot going on for me over here. So I was like, okay, if I have to pick, I know what I'm picking. And it's what I'm passionate about right now, what's working for me right now. So yeah, I dropped out of university. I only had 6 months left, but those 6 months were very crucial for my career in Dubai.
Right.
So if I had gone to Bangalore for those 6 months, like nothing would have gotten done here. And the thing is, TikTok was banned in India.
Right.
And I blew up on TikTok. So I had no choice but to stay here if I wanted this to work. So yeah, I ended up dropping out of college for that.
So you left your degree because you wanted to be a content creator, and that's where you saw success.
Yeah.
So what was your content all about? The first video?
Well, actually, I've been making YouTube videos since I was like 8.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Like I started with like karaoke videos, and then a few makeup videos. All of them deleted. They no longer exist because it's so embarrassing. Like I was really young, so I was just like, oh, this is cringy. I'm just gonna take this down. No, but in 2020 when I started because I was in lockdown, and like I said, the guy that I was seeing at that time, he just put this thought in my head, like, oh, what if you didn't end up doing psychology? And I was just like, yeah. Like at that point, my brain was just like, okay, psychology, get a degree, get a job somewhere, and then start your own clinic. Like my mind was just focused on that one path. Like I didn't think about like exploring different options that I had. So when that was like brought up and my mind was diverted from that one path, I explored a lot of different opportunities. Like I started picking up like random hobbies like the guitar, or like even creating music at one point. So there was like a lot of things that I was picking up here and there, putting out Instagram reels, taking pictures for Instagram. And then finally I was like, okay, I want to make YouTube videos. And the thing is, I actually had a cat at that point that died. So just to distract myself from everything that was going on, I was like, I'm going to make YouTube videos. And I think the first video that I made was it a how to be confident? It was like a parody, like a skit about how to be confident. And it was something about, like, if you're confident, you'd be able to rob a bank and get away with it. Something like that.
Is that video still up?
No, I took it down because the guy that I was seeing is in that video. So I'm like, no, I can't keep this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you move to fashion?
I've always been into fashion. So I never like switched to it or anything. Modeling was way before content creation. So I've been modeling since I was like 15, 16.
Okay.
So while I was still in school, I was not a lot. I wouldn't say I was like a full-time model or barely even part-time. Like I would have like a few shoots here and there. I've been modeling here and there ever since I was 16. So I did stop for a while. Again, not by choice, but the agencies in itself, they were just like, I don't think it's going to work for us. And then I was like, okay, screw this. I don't want to be a part of your agency anyway. I'm going to start my own one day. And then, yeah, at one point, I also had like multiple different hair colors. And the thing with the modeling industry is that different hair colors, usually they don't get you anywhere.
Okay.
So yeah.
You started your modeling agency when?
2021.
So when you were here in UAE and you decided that content creation is the way forward, at the same time you decided that you're going to start a modeling agency as well.
Because I had like a platform that I could market my business on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, this is my opportunity to use what I have and build something sustainable out of it. So that's why I created the agency. The agency was actually a 10-year plan.
Okay.
Like in 10 years, I want to start my own agency, and I had put it in like my vision board with like, and it was supposed to be called the Outcast Agency.
Right.
But even the agency, it started overnight because a friend of mine, she was just like, actually my business partner as well. She was just like, Mariam, I feel like we can pull this off. And I was like, you think? Like, we don't have enough time. And she was just like, I mean, you got the brands, you got the connections, you know the people, and I know the logistics of it. So like, why not? It's worth a shot. We have a photographer. and to like, build the portfolios. You do the marketing. We have everything that we need. Why don't we just do it? And I was just like, you know what? You're right. And then we just pulled the whole thing up from the ground in a month and a half almost.
So why Outcast?
Because it's like an agency for all the outcasts in the modeling world.
Can we go a bit into your agency?
Yeah.
How is it different from the others?
I wouldn't say it's entirely like unique, because I'm sure there are a lot of, very inclusive modeling agencies all around the world. But in Dubai, we are the only agency that are like that inclusive. We focus on talent. We don't really go by the textbooks. We don't focus on your size, your weight, your skin color, and all of that. The only thing that we want from our models is to know how to present yourself, carry yourself in front of the camera. That's what we look for, just talent. A lot of modeling agencies don't, because I've gone to shoots. I've done shoots where I'm like the creative director for it. And there are like these beautiful models that are, obviously they're beautiful, they're tall, they're skinny. And the typical model. But they have no idea how to work themselves in front of the camera. Like, you put them in front of the camera and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm shy. I'm like, aren't you a model? Like, this is your job. you need to know how to work the camera. Like, start posing around. But I think that's the difference between Instagram models and like actual models.
Would we be able to see some content from your socials teaching people how to pose, or maybe work their way from being a shy person working the camera?
Yeah, I think on our agency page there are a few reels on how to pose and things like that. But if I'm gonna be honest, our social media is really dead. Mostly because we can't, because a lot of the content, it's like the brand buys the rights to it.
Right.
So we can't even post it unless it's like already out.
Right.
So a lot of campaigns that are not even out yet, we just have the content with us and we were like, we can't post it. So the social media is, it runs a little dry.
Is looking good expensive?
I think it just depends on what you think makes you look good and if that requires like money or not.
Say if you have to give a message to everybody listening out there, especially the youth, who are very conscious about how they look, needn't necessarily want to be models, but they just want to feel confident. They just want to feel beautiful.
Yeah.
What message would you have for them?
I'm not going to say like love yourself, because I feel like that's a lot easier said than done. But I would say accept yourself for who you are. And if there is something about yourself that you want to change, accept it first. And then after that, if it is something that you can work on.
Feeling good. It's not long lasting. You're very young. You can relate to a lot of youngsters out there.
Yeah.
So it has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
So when it's a down,
yeah,
how does one deal with, especially with the social media now?
Yeah.
You are a social media influencer. You have lots and lots of people who follow you, lots of comments.
Yeah.
Some of them good, some of them not so good. So what happens is, even if you feel confident, but the people around you in your social media, not around you per se, but in social media, they say something negative. How do you deal with that?
I never reply to hate comments. I never address the hate comments. I just let it sit over there and let it like simmer. And unless I feel like I've done something wrong, unless I feel like my intention behind what I was doing was wrong, I'm not going to bring it up. And even if I see hate comments, it'll be like 2 hate comments with like 7, 8 like really nice comments. And I'm like, yeah, that's my community. Like, why am I going to pay attention to the haters anyway? Like, that's just going to ruin my mental health. And honestly, if I reply to the hate comments, that comment is going to go to the top of the list. And then a lot more people are going to see that. And then everything's just going to go downhill. And then everyone's going to focus on that one hate comment.
Your aspirations?
Well, as of right now, I do want to keep doing what I'm doing, like create content, make people laugh, make people feel relatable, and obviously the modeling agency as well. But I want to start more businesses, and my end goal is to coach. In a way that it's like, once I get to a point in my life where I would consider myself like successful, like I've made it, like I have made it in life. Once I get there, I want to be able to show other people how I did it so they can get there as well. Because I'm like, if I can do it, so can you.
But what you should know is the reason why I called you is because I feel that you have reached a certain place, and I look up to you in that particular thing. And that's why I called you here, because I can learn from you.
Oh, thanks, man.
And that's why I ask you all these questions, because hopefully when people see this,
Yeah.
they know that, okay, because to reach a following that you have reached is not an easy feat.
Yeah.
It needs a lot of consistency. It needs a lot of hard work. You need to have the focus and dedication, and also a very tough skin to deal with all the negativity that's around.
Yeah.
So that by itself, I salute you, Mariam. It's not that easy. And there are many who would want to be like Mariam George.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't really have to wait so long to just be a coach.
This is what Million Opinions is for. My dreams coming to life.
No, that's all you. I'm just borrowing your time and your content, you can say, to put it over there, because I think every time you cross one hurdle and you just share your story, that makes a massive difference. Because if one has to wait to be all very successful, maybe today your goal is, okay, this is what I see as success, but as you grow, you'll have further aspirations.
Yeah.
When you tell your story as and when your experiences, be it good ones, bad ones, people will still learn, especially the youngsters, when they look at you, because they see real life experiences. That's something that you should know, Mariam. For me, you are successful, and I wish you more success.
Thank you.
In future.
Thank you. I wanna say something about people that are trying to get into not necessarily social media, but for anything that they're starting. You get what you want when you learn how to live without it. So that is something that I live by. And actually, that's actually a lesson that I probably learned the hard way. Because there was like a lot of like struggles to get to where I am. And I'm not going to say it like struggles as in like, I had to be homeless. Of course, my struggles compared to like a lot of other people's struggles are nothing. But I was put under a lot of stress when I started off YouTube, and I had given up on it because I was like, this is not getting anywhere, because I was so focused on the numbers. And I think I mentioned this to you when we were talking as well. Like, I was very focused on the numbers. So for me, like, I forgot that I was doing this out of passion, because, at that point I was also considering dropping out of college, because I was like, I don't want to focus on psychology anymore. I want to do this because I like doing this. And my parents were not very supportive of it, because it's very risky. Like, you're literally leaving everything just to make videos on the internet. So it's crazy. So at that point, my only goal was to make my parents happy and prove myself to them. And because that's what I was focusing on, I had forgotten about like the passion that was driving the content in the first place. So, and obviously to make money off of YouTube, there are certain thresholds that you have to hit. And I wasn't hitting those thresholds. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to give up. I was putting out like 2 to 3 videos out a week. I would spend half my day just editing and filming and things like that. Like, I put in a lot of work. Like, a lot of work was put into it, and no results were coming out of it. Like, the numbers stayed the same, the views, the comments. Like, I wasn't growing even a little bit. So at one point I did give up. But now that I think about it, I didn't give up on my dream of making it as a content creator. I just gave up trying so hard to prove myself. When there's motivation coming from outside and it's not from within you, chances are, once you make your parents proud and your parents are like, oh, you did a good job, and then that motivation just goes, and now you're just like, oh, what do I do now? Focusing on the numbers and making money out of it just sucks the passion out of it. And you just mentioned that, you work really hard. It must be really stressful. Like, the thing is, I wouldn't say that I work hard, because I don't think you work a day in your life when you love what you're doing. Even now, if I'm like busy all day and I'm filming and I'm editing and all of that, like it does tire me and it does stress me out, but I love it. Because I'm like, this is work. This is something that I love doing. This is something that I chose to do. So even coming back home tired as hell and, having to still take my makeup off, I'm like, I had a good productive day.